favorite beverage, and she brought the career advice. Now sit back and relax while you get advice that will take you to the next destination in your career or business. And now, Katrina Brittngham.
Hello, hello, hello. It is Katrina Brittngham and my handsome co host, Dr. Love.
Hello, hello, hello.
We are back with another topic for you today. So, this one will help you whether you're in business or whether you are in your career.
Okay,
And the topic is, what is success to you?
okay.
A lot of people talk about success and what you need to do to be successful.
Mm-hmm,
But the problem with that is success is not cookie cutter.
mm-hmm,
Success is depending on you. What do you want in your life? What do you want in your career? What does that look like? Have you taken the time to think about what that looks like? Because success to one person will not be the same for another person. You'll hear people say, "Oh, I want to be the next insert name here, insert name there." And then people will work to get what these people have and then find out that they're not happy and that wasn't what success was to them.
mm-hmm.
So, people that tell you, oh, work hard, work hard, work hard. Well, how many people work hard and never get to the level of success that they wanted? Or you get to this level. I found in my career at one point, I was making more than I had ever made. I was successful on my job and everything like that. And I was miserable, could not figure out why I was miserable.
Mm-hmm.
And I have attained success. When I was talking to people about it, they were like, well, you're successful. So then I started feeling like I was selfish because I'm like, well, yeah, I am successful, have my own house, car, money. I can do what I want when I want. I was traveling at least once a year to exotic locales and everything. But on the inside, I was miserable and I couldn't figure out what it was. And that's because I had obtained what I thought was success for me.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had to do some soul searching and find out, well, what exactly do I want to do? Sometimes your success can be shaped by um, your environment, what someone tells you success is, what your parents think success is. And when I stepped out on my success or the thing that would make me happy and successful, um, a lot of people thought I was crazy. Um, you know, it was a far cry from what I was doing. I was having to start all the way from the beginning, and I had at least a decade into my career. Um, but now that I have taken that road, I am a lot happier. I feel successful.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter what anybody else says. Somebody can say you're successful, and I can say, yes, I am successful, but I'm successful on my own terms.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, one thing that people tell you, I was taught this a long time ago. I was in college, and I was told it doesn't matter what degrees you have, it's not what you know that will get you in the door. A lot of times, it's who you know. And that is so true.
Mm-hmm.
My career was marked by that. Even when I went into business, it wasn't what I knew that got me where I am. There's a lot of people who know a lot of stuff, who can do a lot of stuff, and are not successful because they don't get the opportunities um, that other people may. And it may be somebody who maybe not as smart, maybe somebody who's not as skilled, but because they have the right connections, it opens up doors for them that you know, would not have been opened. And so you have some people who are very successful, have a whole lot of potential that never have those doors open for them because they don't have the right connections.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Aside from maybe they don't know how to present it, but we're not even talking about that. We're just talking about having the right people in your corner when you're going for things. What are people saying when behind closed doors? I say that all the time. It's not what people say in front of your face. You have people smiling your face And behind closed doors, they're saying something totally different about you. I'd rather not have people smile in my face so much. But I am concerned about what they say about me behind closed doors. Do you have anything to add, Dr. Love, to that?
I think that's a great topic. Success, that's just the perfect way to put it. What does success mean to you? Because as you said, society has their ideal of success, like you said, house, car, family, 1.5 children, the picket fence. But that's not necessarily happy. It varies from individual to individual. And that's the question we always like to ask. What do you want? What would make your life successful? What makes you happy? And that's the thing about it. Are you happy? Because that's the key to life. You know what I'm saying? Are you happy? Are you in love with what you do? Are you in love with your life? Are you in love with your family? I'm not talking about not having challenges, because you're gonna have some challenges. You're gonna
Exactly.
have, you're gonna have some ups and downs, but I mean, are you happy? And that's what I say. Are you able to wake up with a smile on your face, ready to begin your day? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying that to someone today. I always encourage my children. I was talking with my grandchildren. It's like, what do you want to do with your life? What do you? And I phrase it like this here. What have you dreamed of yourself doing? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about I want to earn a lot of money, because you can earn a lot of money doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't follow the money. Tasty Cakes make $1 million selling Tasty Cakes. Cokes make $1 million selling Cokes. Pampers, they make multi-million-dollar selling Pampers. People make money doing everything. Any field
Mm-hmm.
you can make $1 million. You can earn. I should say you can earn $1 million. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying to myself not to say make money, because it's illegal to make money. You have to earn it. So, to earn money, what is it that you dreamed of doing to earn money? Because, you want to say at the end of the day, what I'm doing in terms of talking and coaching and counseling people, I would do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you pay me makes it even better.
It's a bonus.
It's
Yes.
a you know what I'm saying? It's a bonus. It's a blessing. And that's what you want. That is, now you're moving into success, because you're doing what you want to do. And it also lends itself to the skill set that God has given you. God has given all of us a gift. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it's good if you start understanding your skill set, you know what I'm saying? Your strong points, the things that you have to take your career to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So that is so important to really ask yourself, what do you dream of doing? And then what do you want? That's a great question. I was, that's part of my presentation with Aretha Franklin. We went to see that movie when it came out, and she was singing some Christian songs. She was singing songs that the company wanted. She was singing some of everything, and she sang one lady's song, and the entertainer happened to be in the audience. So she
Mm-hmm.
she 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 performed with the lady singing her song. She said, "Don't sing my song." So Aretha ran off the stage, and then she came back and talked to her. She said, "You will never be successful until you determine what you want to sing. What
Yes.
does Aretha want to sing? You know what I'm saying?" And once Aretha started dialing in on what she wanted to sing, RBSPETC, find out what it means to me, girlfriend took off, because she was singing what she wanted to sing. It was in her.
It came from
See?
her heart. It came from her soul, and
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that's why, like, I just want to go into the dream what you dream about. What's in your soul? Because
Mm-hmm.
again, sometimes dreams can be planted.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I started out, my dream was planted there. It was, and so you have to know deep within your soul, like what is that? And sometimes it takes time to get there and to really identify what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know what your dream is right now, don't beat yourself up. Do that soul searching. Find out. Um, I was told, and I found this to be true. What you do that you can do all day that takes the least amount of effort, that is your thing.
Hmm.
And I found that like coaching is my thing, and teaching is my thing. Um, I'm good with data and finding things and organizing things and this that, and the third. I do that without thinking,
Hmm.
and so sometimes because you're not thinking about it, and you're just doing it, sometimes you miss out on what you're dream and your goal and what drives you. In the case, before I move on, if you want to make a comment and we'll bring it up on the thing, please go to facebook.com/venture ready. Because if you go through the other mediums, when you make the comment, we can't post it up. If you want it posted up, but
Okay.
we'll see that you're also making a comment. So I just had to make sure that I said that
That's right.
because I
We
had
want,
someone.
we want you to post up, right? We want you to post up. We want to see your comments. We want to hear your remarks.
Yes, because I had someone watch and I saw it later and they were like, oh, I was commenting and everything. And I was like, oh, which site were you on? They told me I let them know. So I used to announce that and I kind of got out of it. So
Okay.
it just stuck to me to say that. Um, but in the case with Aretha, one thing this lady knew, she had something in her. She
Mm-hmm.
knew that she could create something. Um, because everyone has a voice. You have a lot of people singing other people's songs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hmm.
what is it that you want to share with the world? And that was the thing that she found. What this was the thing she wanted to share for them. This was life from her perspective. What is life from your perspective? What is your career from your perspective?
Hmm.
And everything like that. And sometimes that does evolve, with your life and the different changes in your life. And is don't be afraid to make that change if you need to make that change,
Right.
and everything like that. Um,
That's
because
so important. It came to my mind. Someone was a gentleman asked a colleague of mine when we were young, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I think he said he wanted to be a lawyer.
mhm,
So the
mhm,
he asked me the question. He said, "Have you ever been a lawyer before?" He said, "No." Well, how do you know you want to be one? Yeah, you know. And see, that lends itself to what you were saying, is you don't have to get it right the first time. You have the right to make changes. If you go into something and it doesn't work right, it's not a right fit. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of life. You can alter some things. You can change some things.
mhm,
You can critique some things. It's not
mhm,
written in stone.
mhm.
Okay. Just want to make sure we free our listeners up to, be free, be comfortable in making some changes if you need to. Because at the
Right,
end of the day, once you adjust it to where it works for you, it's a fit for you, and you love it, that's all that matters.
right,
Because the people that you serve will appreciate what you bring and your gift to the universe.
right. And it goes to what gets you up in the morning.
Hmm.
I've had jobs where I just dreaded going in.
Okay.
I couldn't wait for Friday.
Thank
When
God it's
Sunday
Friday.
came, I would get a headache or a stomach ache or something. And I was just like, wait a minute, this is not right. But when I found what was for me,
Hmm.
I couldn't wait to get up in the morning. I would wake up before the alarm would go off
Hmm.
to
Yes.
get um to where I needed to be, and I would do it all day, and like no effort. Um, I was at events and everything for this because this is, and I would be so excited for the event, and people was like, "Oh my gosh, you're a ray of sunshine." I was like, "Because this is me. This is what I
Hmm.
do. This is my passion. This is what drives me." And then I found myself being in the right rooms, the right places at the right time, and is not necessarily even going to a bed. I used to talk to people on the street and they're like, you know what? This is going on here. Here's my card. So it's a combination. Success is the network. It's being in the right place at the right time. Um, and you'll hear people say that they were at the right place at the right time, no matter
Hmm.
what the career is, whether it's music, whether it's business, whether it's helping people with love. You'll get to the place where you're in the right place at the right time, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll spring your career to where it needs to be. It'll spring your business where it needs to be. Always be on the lookout for those opportunities and open doors. I tell people, like, I mean, I chat everybody up. I do.
Okay. That's good. That's good.
Um, I'm better one on one, a small crowd or whatever, but I'll find myself if I'm in the elevator, I'm in there with by myself with somebody else. It's just something in me. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Such such such. You never know where those conversations will take you. Um,
Uh-huh.
you never know.
Yeah.
Just by saying hello to someone. And it doesn't matter how they look. Because I tell people all the time, I have had conversations with millionaires who did not look like millionaires, or
Mm-hmm.
what society tells you that a millionaire is supposed to look like. So um, you want to do that. Get the right mentor. Yes, you need a mentor.
That's
Even
huge.
at my age and in my business, I have mentors that
Mm-hmm.
help me to get where I needed to be. To be like, all right, Trina, you got to talk like this. My one mentor, which was an unexpected mentor, I must say, um, again knew me, was in business, and we were on a phone call. We got on. She said, "I need you to meet with me," and she was like, "You have to work on your poker voice." And we were on a phone call with a lawyer. The lawyer was really like, "Rrr." And after a while, it did show. And I knew I had to admit it in my voice. And she was like, "You have to work." She said, "Yeah, this person was out of line, but this is a customer and this, that, and the third. You have to work on your poker voice. Now, when you leave that call, when you leave that room, you can go off, you can do whatever. It's those small little things that a mentor will be able to help you with if you're having issues, in your career or on the job. There's things that you can speak to them about, um, situations. I had a situation where I was coaching someone, and she was great at what she did, excellent bedside manner, everything. She was a nurse, she was a teacher, and everything, but she had an issue with her peers and communicating with her peers.
Mm-hmm.
And so she came to me to coach to say, I need to know how to get them to communicate with me better. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, actually, that's not the case. You need to be trained so you can learn how to communicate with them better
Mm-hmm.
to get the results that you need.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
a mentor, because it's not about changing anyone else in the circumstance, it's about changing you
Mm-hmm.
in the circumstance. And this is, you can be 100% right in the situation, but how could your actions have changed the situation or
Mm-hmm.
turned the situation around?
Yeah.
And this person was on the verge of leaving where she was and everything like that. After coaching her, she was like, she got an evaluation, was like, oh my goodness, your communication skills are so much better, saved her job and everything like that. So your mentor won't focus on everyone else and how everyone else handles themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Is how you handle yourself. How do you handle your money? How do you handle conflict? How do you handle the emotional intelligence of people in the room?
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
this all makes a big difference in you. How empathetic are you? That person could be gruff, but what are you getting off of that person? Did they have a bad day?
Mm-hmm.
Did they just get told off before they came into the room with you? Can you pick up on what's going on in the room? And when you do pick up on it, can you handle it? Can you sway it?
Mm-hmm.
How good as a leader, how good are you at shifting the atmosphere? How good at you are you at shifting the attitudes? How good at you are convincing people of your point of view? Because every time you walk in a room, you're not going to have somebody who likes your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
You have sometimes go in a room where people who already made their mind up. Are you good at changing minds? These are the things that you have to not worry about, but look at when you're in business. If you're in leadership or you desire to have a leadership role, um, how good at you are you with change?
That's right. That's important.
So having that mentor really helps. to help shape your business. And if you look at anyone who's reached a level where they believe they're successful, they'll all tell you that they had a great mentor.
Great mentor and a combination. And just on the mentor things, I wanted to make 2 points that you brought out that were really excellent points. One, to our listeners, I want you to know when we speak about a mentor, that could be dead or alive. There are people who wrote books and left books who are no longer on the face of the earth, but their materials here. A mentor
Hmm.
could be someone who has gone on before, but they left their material, they left their voice, they left their experience. Okay, that is so important to understand that. And the other point that you made that I thought was just an excellent point is when it comes down to um, reading the room or being able to admit I had a gentleman that hit my truck one evening. He was just all wrong, and I came out. Someone told me about it, and I realized the way I talked to him. I said I handled that all wrong. See, and that's a part of leadership is to just kind of like have that voice within to just be like, I didn't handle that right. I
Hmm.
didn't I didn't say the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I kind of talked to him like I doubted if he had the insurance. I was kind of like coming from that perspective, and he said he had it, but I didn't. It was just I just handled it all wrong. So when I came away from that, I just said I need to just drop it because I handled it all wrong. So those are some of the things that you're going to find out, in leadership or even just going where you're going. You're going to make some mistakes, but
Hmm.
when you make those mistakes, are you willing to just talk to yourself and say, "Listen, I blew it.
Hmm.
Okay, I made a
Hmm.
mistake. Okay,
Hmm.
because someone said those are the six most powerful words on earth is I'm sorry, I made a mistake."
Oh yeah, it's the most powerful and it's the hardest for people to say
Uh,
because it takes a humbleness. Again, it comes to emotional intelligence and is knowing where you are. Is being able to read yourself. You
mm-hmm,
know, I will walk in rooms and I would tell people, look, I'm having a bad day, so don't take it. Like you have to let people know where you are and
mm-hmm,
everything like that, understanding that. And then sometimes you might not be able to tell people, but the fact that you know, because if you're having a bad day, if something happens, somebody hits your car, and everything like that, it's going to take you to a place,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and you have to know what place you're in, because when you're already upset and emotions are heightened, everything is going to be heightened. Something that wouldn't normally bother you is now 1,000 on your emotional scale,
mm-hmm,
or your scale where you get angry. And you might not even be someone who gets angry a whole lot, but once you're there, you're there. So now everything is going to tick you off. So you have to know that and be able to manage that. And how do you manage that?
mm-hmm,
That's where a mentor will come in, a coach will come in, to teach you how to manage those things. So before we go to break, I did want to bring up, because I did mention it before, some of the things that you were told, um, that you need to do to be successful. And some gurus, and I've heard them say it myself, is
okay,
that, oh, um, if you shouldn't be sleeping 8 hours or 7 hours in a day if you want to be successful, you'll never be successful. That is the biggest fable
mm-hmm,
of all time. If you need 8 hours sleep or 7 hours sleep, listen to your body. Okay. Some people need more sleep than others. But one thing is, if you're tired and you're not getting enough sleep, you're not thinking clearly.
that's right.
You're more prone to be upset. You miss details. So yes, you do want to get that sleep. You want to have that balance. You don't want to be working, working, working. Because that was one of the things that I had done as well. I worked so much and I missed so much of my family's life.
Mm-hmm.
Working. Oh, excuse me. Don't know where those hiccups came from. Um, I missed so much of that, and that was one of the things that was my regret and made me make the change that I did, because I was like, okay, I'm working and yes, I'm successful and I got money and I go on vacation, but I don't get to see my family. I was missing major milestones and everything in my nephew's life. Um, I was just getting to the point where I could see him, and he passed away.
Mm,
Yes, I talked to him and everything, but that was one of the things that I was thinking about. And I was like, gosh, even though I had times and they were joyful, I was like, I could have had more time
mm,
because you always think, I got more time, I got more time. He was 23 years old. So you don't think a 23-year-old is going to be gone.
yes.
And I was like, he was. And I was just like, I really wish I had that more time. And you don't want to have that as a memory of this person. That I wish I could have had more time
Hmm.
with them. Um, and everything like that. Now, I mean, within your means. I mean, I know where I was. I know what I missed,
Hmm.
or whatever. Um, when it came to that, and I was working on fixing it. And just when I fixed it and I was about to go visit and everything, I was like, I'm gonna spend more time. I have more time now, and this.
Hmm.
Just that quick, he was gone.
Yes.
So you think, okay, I'm gonna sacrifice now for
Hmm.
later, but later may never come.
Yes.
And so
Sometimes.
you don't want to have that as something that you live to regret. On that note, I see Dr. Love has something to say. We're going to go to our 30-second commercial and then we're going to come back and he's
We'll
going
be
to
back.
give his point of view.
We'll be back.
Or maybe not. Okay. Um,
Are you looking to advance your career? Your resume is the single most important factor in advancing your career. It's the best way to show you have what it takes. Introducing Venture Ready LLC. We help professionals see beyond the limits of their current circumstances. We will significantly increase your chances of landing your dream job. We offer the following: career coaching, executive coaching, interview readiness, job search strategies, career transition coaching. Get in touch with us today. Venture Ready LLC, the complete package for any career path you take.
all right, and we are back. So
We're back.
Venture Ready LLC will help you, will give you the coaching you need, the mentoring you need to help you see beyond your current circumstances. Because sometimes when you want to make a change and things like that, you can't see how you can get out of that rut. We help you see beyond that rut. And Dr. Love is going to give his comments about what I was discussing before.
Oh, yes. I mean, you just, you just nailed it with just giving advice. And, what we're doing tonight is so important because, sometimes, uh, Ms. Katrina, you give to technical advice in terms of programming and different things to have your business running successful. And then there are those times when like you said, where you just need to define what does success mean to you. And it has been said that a lot of men make a lot of money, but very few get a chance to enjoy it, to enjoy
Mm-hmm.
life. You know what I'm saying? So that is huge what you're saying in terms of the sacrifice. And that's really a day-to-day decision that I want to encourage business men and women to make, is because like you said, we're going to sacrifice for 5 years, and then year number 6 we're going to live.
Mm-hmm.
you know Now you may want, I'm not telling you not to do that. you know it's just that I'm cut from the cloth. you know Tomorrow's not promised.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yes, yeah, and you do need to make some sacrifices. You do need to, you do need to be wise with your money. You do need to, you need to not spend everything. You do need, I'm with you on that. But then there are those times when it's like, sometimes you've got to take the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to make the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to close the business or shut the doors and say, listen, I've got to be at this event or this affair or this particular, because you'll never get a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So those are very important issues, to really just kind of like understand. And Ms. Katrina, that's one of the things that um, in my career. So now I'm footloose and fancy free now to do Dr. Love and do what I need to do, because having 5 children, I mean, I was working, but more importantly, I wanted to be there for my children. When they graduated, I wanted to be there. When they started walking, I wanted to be there. When they was on stage, I was just talking with my granddaughter. My granddaughter had an announcement. It was assembly, and she came on and said, "Welcome to our second grade assembly." That's what she said. So she asked her mother, "Y'all coming?" Girl, you gonna be on stage for half a second, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
You
it
know what I'm saying?
matters.
It didn't matter, you know what I mean? She wanted her mother and father to be there, and so my daughter told me, I said, "Did y'all get pictures?" They she said she was on and off stage before we even got there. I said, "You're supposed to walk in the door with your camera in your hand, you know."
Right?
You're supposed to be ready, so they didn't get the picture, but they were there, you know.
Hmm.
And see, those are moments. Those are moments that you will never get a chance.
Never.
You'll never get a second chance. And those are things that, one more story I want to tell that I thought was really funny. My wife laughed at it. Is my middle daughter, Kelly. Um, it was a challenge when we put her in school. It was a challenge. She just didn't want to part with home. So I took her to school. I would take her to school. She'd be in there crying. I mean, other mothers and parents be looking at me. She's like, "Father," she would, "Don't leave it." I mean, she performed. You know what I'm saying? Crying. So one day I got to school early, and I was sitting on the steps waiting for her. It was a set of steps. It was a set of steps off to the side of the school, and I was sitting on the steps waiting for her. And when she got on, she came out and she saw me sitting on the steps. She said, she said, "You were sitting on the steps." I said, "Yeah, I was sitting on the steps waiting for you." She said, "Is that where you sit when I'm in school? That's where you sit?" I said, "Yes, I'm sitting there waiting for you." She said, "Oh, well, no problem." She said, "I don't have to cry because I thought you left me." You know what I'm saying? I said, "No, I'm on the steps waiting." So she said, "Oh, from that day on, she never cried."
Oh,
She never cried. But when she came out of school, she was leading the line. She was looking around that corner. Is he up on them steps? You know what I'm saying? And I used to run so I could get there. So when she came out, I'd be on them steps. I'd say, "Hi." She'd wave to me. That's priceless. You know what I'm saying? Just
yes.
just to be there for those moments. And you know what I mean? She's 30, 36 today, and she still remembers those moments. So business owners, men and women alike, take time for the important things. You will always get a chance to develop your business, to scale your business, but you'll never get a second chance to make an impact and be involved in the family's growth and development. It's very important.
Yes. Yes. And that is so true. And um, one thing I can say, again, I have some great people around me, entrepreneurs and everything. And one thing that my cousin said, and she said it during an interview that I had interviewed her for, is, because we all go through this. So if you're going through it and you're working and you're overworking, don't beat yourself up. We all kind of go through it, kind of get stuck. And she was saying, I had a incident where I was missing stuff. And she said, but then I started going to stuff, and I had to realize that I had to be present in the moment.
Hmm.
So when you're there, are you really there? Are you on your cell phone, or are you in the moment? Put those
Hmm.
cell phones up, put the tablets down, put everything away and be present
Hmm.
in the moment.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay? Be there, participate. Don't be have there and have not, because you're like, oh, what's going on with the business? This is a big thing for especially solopreneurs.
Mm.
because we're the ones doing everything in the business.
Yes,
Guess
yes.
what? It can wait. It can wait until tomorrow. There's always going to be work, but when you're in that event, when you're with your family, be present in the morning. And I had to, um, I had to be convicted by that because when she said, I realized that I was always in my phone, no matter
Hmm.
where I was always in something. And
Hmm.
so, that's what you have to be. You have to be present in the moment.
Hmm.
You have to enjoy those moments, have those cameras. Like the greatest memory I have of my nephew was his high school graduation. And I had promised him, he was in preschool. And I went to his preschool graduation. He was graduating um, to go to first grade. So, because he had a preschool graduation, a kindergarten graduation, elementary school graduation, everything. And it got to the point where my brother moved out of state. So I couldn't necessarily make the out of state ones. But
Hmm.
I told him when he went to graduate from kindergarten, because I couldn't make it,
Hmm.
um, unfortunately. And I let him know. He was like, "Oh, Aunt Trina, you can't make it." And I was like, "No, but I tell you this: when you graduate high school,
Hmm.
Aunt Trina will
Oh,
bend heaven
yeah.
get there."
Hmm.
Now he was 5 years old. I remembered it because he was coming on like, "Oh, I gotta make it." I told my job in the beginning, as it was it was January. I said, "Look, let me tell you, June this time, I don't care what's going on. I
I'm
put in my
out.
time for it. I'm out. My nephew is graduating. He's in Florida, and I'm going down there." And I was like, "Don't even call me. Don't look for me. Nothing." I said, "I'm not going to be available at any time." And folks was like, "Whoa," because I was never like never not available. Like there's always, "Oh, well, you can call me," and this. Even when I went on vacation, if it's an emergency, call me. I was like, "Don't call me, don't look for me. I don't exist during this week." Okay.
Hmm. Yes.
And I did not realize when you say things to your family and children, they remember because he called me up. I
Hmm.
had just made those arrangements. He called me and he was like, "Aunt Trina, you know
Hmm.
what year it is?"
It's
And I,
time.
yes, I know. He was like, "You remember you told me that if you don't make it to any other graduation, you'll make it to this one."
Hmm.
That thing hit me. I said, "Oh, baby, I'm there. I already put in my time."
Hmm.
He called me every month. "You still coming?" "Yes, baby, I'm coming."
I'm coming.
I said, "I don't care how I get. I don't care if I have to walk. I'm going to
I'll
be
be
there."
there. I'll be there.
He called me every month. The month of, he called me every week. That last week, he called me every day. "You still
That was the
coming?"
countdown. That was the countdown.
I was driving down there and he was like, "You still coming?" I said, "I'm driving down now."
I'm on the road,
He
baby.
called me every half an hour. "You still coming?" I'm just like, oh gosh. So the point that when I finally got there, his dad and his stepmom was like, "Thank God Aunt Trina is here because we are tired of He's like, "My Aunt Trina
Finally.
is coming. She
Mhm.
is coming." And the graduation was awesome. They had fireworks. I'm like, what high school has fireworks? But they
Ah,
had fireworks. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. It's a moment that I know he never forgot. It's a moment I never forgot. And I was in that moment with him. Okay. Had some conversations with him. You're an adult now, this. But it was just the fact that I knew that I had made that promise and I
mhm,
was going to be there. But I had no idea from the time this boy was 5 years old, he was still holding that. And he
mhm,
said it, he was like, "You didn't make the other graduation." And I was like, "But that's fine because my Aunt Trina said that when I graduate high school, she is going to be there." He kept that in his mind all that time. And
all
I
that.
say that to say, with your family, they're looking for you to be there, especially if you make promises that you're going to be there. They hold that. And so, are you a person of your word that works in business? People want to know if you say you're going to be somewhere, are you going to be there? Are you going to be on time? We got down there a couple days before his graduation, so it wasn't like we were just running, to the graduation. I wanted
Mhm,
to make sure that I had that time. When you're telling people that you're going to be there, are you going to be there? Are you going to show up? That is the family time. Make sure that that family time is 100% family time, because
Mm-hmm.
it makes a difference. It's the things, it's your legacy to your family. It's what they're going to think about when you're not here. They're not going to think about how much money you had. They're
Mm-hmm.
really not, or whatever. I mean, you have the people, when people pass, and I've seen it outside of my family, inside my family. There's like, oh, money, money, money. But what they're going to hold on to when that money is gone or whatever is the memory of you. And
Mm-hmm.
what is that memory that you are leading? And that is part of being successful. When you're there for your family and you're having those happy moments, that is part of success. Most people will say they're working for their family, or to provide for their family, or to be there for their family. Well, be there.
Mm-hmm. That is
That is
important.
the thing. Be there.
Be there. And what came to me, I was at a business seminar, and they were saying, they said, businessmen and women, don't forget the structure. The structure is God first, family second, business third.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's the order. That's the order of life. God first, family second, business third. Okay, that you got to know that. And Miss Katrina, I appreciate you talking about the sleep myth. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, get out that bed. You got to be. Now mind you, I mean, I'm up at 5 o'clock. That just happens to be my wake up time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if I need an extra hour, or if I need a day off, or if I'm going, whatever it is that I'm going to do, I take the proper time to get the proper rest so that I can be effective. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, you want to remember this scenario. 10 minutes of thinking is equivalent to 24 hours of doing.
Yes.
You could take a moment and think for 10 minutes, and you will accomplish more with a well thought out 10 minutes than 24 hours of running in circles.
Mm-hmm.
You're not effective. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But when you sit still and you hear and you meditate and you contemplate and you fathom and you think and you plot and you strategize, you come up with ideas and things that wouldn't ordinarily be available to you, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to go within. So like you were just saying, when somebody tells you, no, you can't get 6 hours, you can't. Some people can run on 4 hours. Some people can't.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, I say go right ahead. But you freed up the business owner. You freed up the businesswoman. See that statement that you made. We're freeing up the business people to begin to understand you are an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, don't try to rest and sleep like other people sleep. I'm not saying be in the bed all day. I'm
Right.
saying get the proper amount of rest so when you wake up, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I lay down in peace and I raise with praise.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? When I lay down at night, I'm at peace. I said, Lord, thank you for a great day. When I raise with praise. Thank you. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And I'm ready to get up and start
Mm-hmm.
my day and do my day. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a liberating statement that you made in terms of, getting caught up with, people trying to drive you, you got to pay the price, and you got to make the sacrifice. No, the only thing you got to do is be true to your dream. It's not a big sacrifice. It's a labor of love. I
Yes.
don't see that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got to be tough. You got to when everybody else is no. When you're doing what you want to do, it's a joy. And like we just said, the doors open up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that. No one does anything in life unless we're given the opportunity. No man's an island.
Right.
We all need somebody to give us a hand up, to open a door, to give us a piece of advice, to give
Mm-hmm.
us an opportunity to speak. No one does anything unless given an opportunity. We
Mm-hmm.
need each other, and that's important. So that statement was just such a liberating statement to say, listen, if you need 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever you need, take your 8 hours. And when you get up, be ready to hit a home run.
Right. Because you're more energetic. You can't think strategically if your brain does not get the rest that it needs.
Yes.
And I had to learn that the hard way. I've burnt myself out,
Right.
completely out, um
Mm-hmm.
and everything like that, just doing.
Yes. Yeah.
um I had to put some things and some systems in place to make sure that I ate lunch, that I ate breakfast, that that I had those things, and even down to self-care, massages, whatever, taking what I need to fuel this body, so that I could be up and raring to go.
Mm-hmm.
Another myth was work hard. Yes, you're going to work hard, but you want to work smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm.
So having the proper rest leads you to be able to think strategically,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can work smarter, not
Mm-hmm.
harder,
Not hard.
so that you can get the things done that you need to get done. What systems can you put in place so you don't have to do as many steps? These are the things that you want to consider. Um, Amongst that, because we are 15 minutes out, so I want to make sure I get some of these things in,
Okay. All right.
is investments. What are you going to do with the money once you get the money? If you put that money in the bank, yeah, it'll make some interest, but it's like less than 1%, if 1%.
Yes.
Some banks are good that may give you 2%, maybe 3%, depending on. So, how are you investing your money? That's where you get the mentors, because they'll tell you how to invest your money, get a financial advisor, things like that. An accountant, a CPA, somebody that can help you manage your money properly, make sure that you're paying the proper taxes. Because a lot of times in business, people get hung up because they're not paying the proper taxes. They're not putting the money aside to pay quarterly, to pay taxes, especially when you're a solopreneur, because that money that's coming in is money that's coming in. So you have to make sure that it's the proper taxes. Also, when you're in business, you're paying the full weight of your taxes. When you work for someone, they're paying half of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they paying half, you're paying half. So that could be a shock to your system too. How many people who have money, next thing you know, they're on the news. So and so, the IRS is getting them, or they spent jail time, or they owe so many millions of dollars in back taxes. So these are the things that you want to be able to look at, to be able to manage your money well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you want to enjoy that money, but you don't want to spend every dime. Rainy days happen, slow days happen in business. COVID came and knocked a lot of people out of the water, when it came to money management and how they were managing their money and their time. Um, so these are the things that you want to absolutely consider. All of it is a whole package of being successful,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And it's the difference between looking successful to the outside world and actually being successful behind closed doors. And so these are the things that you want to consider, and these are the things that you want to look at, um, when it comes to being successful. These were my top one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine topics, that I personally thought I would just considering. Last week I was sitting there and I'm like, it came up and it was like success. And I'm like, but what really is success?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just like, okay, well, what is success to me? What does success look like to me?
Yes.
And I consider that every now and again, and I'm like, am I successful to myself? Because it really doesn't matter. Like, with the advent of social media, everyone can look successful.
Right.
All of the happy times, successful times are on social media. So what does it really look like?
Yes.
Am I really successful? Am I really happy with my life?
Mm-hmm.
And I consider that, even when I think I'm at a certain level of happiness, it's like, are you really happy though?
Mm-hmm.
And everything like that. And it's not saying I was miserable. It's just taking that time to take that personal stock of yourself, to
Yeah.
see if you are truly happy, because no one can tell you that you're happy. You have to know that you're happy. No one can tell you you're successful. And you'll have people come, "Oh, you're successful. Oh, wow, you have this. You must have successful." Well, guess what? That's what success looks like to them.
Mm-hmm.
but is it really what success looks like to you?
Yeah.
You know,
And
I remember when I really was like, wow, I really am successful. I have everything that I want. I have everything that I need. I'm able to spend the time with my family. I have the free time, or I have the ability to make the time. Because there
see.
was one point where I did not have the ability to make that time.
Hmm.
Someone else was telling me when I could have time off. Someone else was telling me when I could do certain things. At the point where I was talking with my nephew, that's what it was. The corporate, like they had certain things during certain times quarterly where you could not take off, or it was a fireable offense. And it just so happened because quarterly, always June is the graduation times when your kids are graduating from
Yes.
elementary school and everything like that. You don't get to like May until they get to college. So every June, I could not take off of work because of the rules and the regulations. And I was like, well, wait a minute, I want to control my own time. I don't want somebody to tell me that I can't take off
That's
during,
right.
I mean, it was already written in there. It's not like, oh, we're gonna have to catch up on the work. No, it was set in stone. This month you cannot take off. And it's 4 of the months during the year where you can absolutely
Yeah.
not take off.
Don't
And I
even.
was just like, I don't want my life to be controlled in that sense. Some people it's fine for them, but for me, it was too constraining. And at this time, I was taking, like I said, I was taking vacation several times during the year, but I couldn't take the time when I necessarily wanted to take the time.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed those vacations, the blue green water, going to Spain. I enjoyed all of that, but it was just like, okay, when I really need to take this time, to meet a family need or obligation, it doesn't matter what's going on. I can't take that time.
Hmm.
And so I was like, okay, what would give me the freedom and flexibility to be able to live my life on my terms?
Hmm.
And that's the thing that you have to look at. What will give you the freedom to live your life on your terms
Yes.
while being successful? Because I was still, even after I made that change, still successful, still doing the things, still knocking it out of the park. As far as productivity, but and I found that I was more productive because I was able to do the stuff that I needed to do,
Hmm.
and had things that fit my life. And that's the thing that you have to be aware of. You are more productive when you have more balance in your life.
That's right.
You have more peace, you have more joy when you are where you need to be for you. Now, again, what worked for Katrina may not work for you, but you have to know what works for you.
Yes.
You have to know what is your balance, what is your key thing. What is the thing that is going to help you get to where you need to be. Because again, I was making more money than I'd ever made, and I was doing great. I could buy what I want, do what I want, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled for various reasons. And that's what I'm saying. You have to take stock of where you are,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, money is what it is. You can get sick, and trust me, there are people who have millions of dollars that will give their whole fortune away for health. And sometimes we can drive ourselves to being unhealthy with unhealthy principles, unhealthy doctrines, trying to live what someone told you that you're supposed to do. And that person may be following those principles, and they may not be
Hmm.
following.
Yeah. One of the things that just I'll never forget, that just stuck with me, is Robin Williams, who always played Miss Doubtfire, Miss Tootsie.
Mhm.
I mean, if you would see him, he was always laughing on the screen, always joking on something, just a regular comedian. And then you hear in the news, Robin Williams commits suicide.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, all that laughter, all that fun that we saw on the screen, uh, wasn't the same laughter at home, because you can't laugh like that and be that happy and kill yourself. You know, You see, the one or the other doesn't lend itself. So that
Mhm.
just always stuck with me because as you were just sharing with it, you've got to be true to yourself. And that's a question that you want to ask yourself regularly. Are you happy? Am I happy? And if
Mhm.
you're not, if there's some areas that you're not, you want to take the time and reflect, take inventory because that's what we came here. That's the question. Where is the happiness that I came here for? We came here
Mhm.
happiness to enjoy ourselves. We got all the other things, but for the most part, it's about being happy. It's
Mhm.
about being content. It's
Mhm.
about finding the joy of living. So don't be one way in front of people and another way. Be true to who you are, and you deserve to be happy. And that's what this show was about, is making sure we at least cause you to question certain things. And if it's not where you want it to be, that's the one thing that we have over the animals. We have the ability to create our own life, our own circumstances, and live life on our terms. Okay,
Mhm.
that's important.
And that's what it is. And it's a principle. I don't know what everybody who is watching this believes, but I do follow the principles of the Bible, and it's a scripture that says it's a blessing of the Lord to enjoy the fruit of your labor.
Hmm.
Are you enjoying the fruit of your labor?
Enjoy. That's good.
Are you? You know, and that's one of the things that you have to, and you can make that change. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are. As long as you have breath in your body, you can make that change to do the things that you want to do those things that'll make a change in your life. And it doesn't
Hmm.
matter the things that happened in your life. It may take you a little bit longer because you had some roadblocks. You had some poor decisions that you made.
Hmm. Hmm.
I know even for my life, I was like, wait a minute, if I had not made that choice, if I had not
Hmm.
made that decision,
Yeah,
that decision set me back.
that's right. It costs you some money. Cost you, you've had some financial losses. You know what I'm saying? We've all had that.
Financial losses, time loss, um, and everything like that. So, because everything, yes, you think about money when it comes to business, but everything's not business. Even when it comes to if you chose the wrong career and you spent years in it, invested in it, got degrees in it,
Hmm.
and then you realize this was not the right choice,
Hmm.
you can make a pivot, maybe go back to school, maybe get a certification,
Hmm.
and everything, and make that change.
Make that change.
That's one of the big things when I came out to do my business was for career transitioners
Okay.
because transition was scary. It was all that people knew. They just knew they needed to do something different, but then they were like, oh, I couldn't do it. Oh, I'm too old. Or, oh, I spent too much time. No one's going to want me like this. And I'm like, no, you can make that change. Number one, I made it. So I know that you can. But is knowing that you can always start over.
Always.
You can always start over as long as you have the breath in your body. You can always come back from that setback.
Hmm.
You know, I actually did a presentation on it, how to come back from from that setback, and there's different setbacks that you can have. What lessons did you learn from that setback? You know, and what are you putting into place to overcome it and to make sure that you don't have that same setback.
Hmm.
So it's all about learning those lessons and growing and everything and getting to that level of success that makes Katrina be successful at the end of the day, that makes Dr. Love be successful at the end of the day, that makes insert your name here successful at the end of the day, because it does look different to different people.
That's right. And one of the things that I would just like to share in closing is that the years that you spent outside of the career that you may be transitioning into, and that's such a great thing for this show because that's what Miss Katrina does, is getting you prepared to transition into whatever career you want to. Even the career that you was in, the life experiences and the experience that you had in that career, something that you have there is going to serve you in your transition. It's
Mm-hmm.
not it's not going to be for naught. It's not going to be for waste. You know what I mean? Some things may not serve you, but there's going to be a lot of experiences, a lot of training, a lot of insight that you had that's going to serve you in your new career, and it's not going to be the loss that you thought it was going to be. Okay? You know,
Absolutely.
that's
Ooh, excuse
that
me.
that that happens more than you'll ever know. Is those years of experience are going to serve you in a greater way, and you're going to be such a beacon, such a light to people when they say you said you changed careers at 50. Yes, I changed careers at 60. Yes, you changed at 60. Yes, I did. Okay, and believe you me, uh, the latter is greater. Okay, the latter is greater. I mean, as long it doesn't matter how you start out, but your latter years will be your greater years. That's why it's
Mm-hmm.
no time to start second guessing yourself, playing it safe. Go for it, play it hard, play it long, because I guarantee you, when you sit along the side of life and you look back on your life, the last thing you want is regret.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last thing you want. I should have took a chance on myself. I could have I could have went on and started that business. I should have just changed careers. When they told me in the office, anybody wants to take an early buyout and leave right now, give me the buyout and let me go change careers right now. You know what I'm saying? It
Mm-hmm.
ain't all the money, but it's enough.
Right.
Okay? So important. The last thing I want you to have at the end of life is regret. You want to say no regrets.
And that is the perfect end because we are actually over the hour. Um, we always go over the hour. God help us.
Yes.
One day we're going to end on time. But that was the perfect ending to that. You don't want to live your life with that. I could have did this. I should have. I could have been better.
Mhm.
I could have been there, and I was not. So thank you so much. If you want to talk about your measure of success and where you want to be, you have a coach right here. You can reach out to me, info@ventureready.net, and we can get you right where you need to be. But
Mhm.
thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye. No regrets.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of High Tea with Me. To be a guest on the show, contact us via email info@ventureready.net. Thank you again, and see you next week.